Historiography of the Right is a 1973 essay by Julius Evola, which can be found in Arctos Media's A Handbook for Right-Wing Youth. The book is a compilation of Evola's political essays, and Historiography of the Right is Evola's call to action for the right to develop its own historiography contra to the left. Historiography is an academic discipline which involves the writing and telling of history in such a way that an overarching meta-narrative of history is synthesized. It is done with a strong ideological bent and connects different events throughout the course of history within a common framework. One example of a historiography is the left's concept of progressive linear history. Progressive linear history is the view that progress is the main driver of history, and that over the course of centuries, humans have worked towards producing liberal, secular, and egalitarian societies. This is the historiography that is taught in modern-day textbooks and informs the worldview of modern-day liberals. Although it is deeply subversive, it performs the function that a historiography is supposed to, which, as Evola observes, involves, quote, focusing on the essential dimensions of history, beyond all episodic conflicts and political developments, beyond the history of individual countries, and it has successfully grasped the general and essential process which has unfolded over the last centuries, namely, the transformation of one type of civilization and society to another. At the time of his writing, both Julius Evola and the great German political theorist Carl Schmitt both agreed that the right did not have a historiography of its own, let alone a good one. So what does Evola think should characterize a right-wing historiography? Throughout the essay, Evola reiterates that vast, complex forces have been at play during the course of history. The left interpret the amalgamation of these forces to be progress, but Evola recommends readers invert the left's view and interpret it as subversion or decline. To put simply, the historiography of the right must be a narrative of things getting worse, not better, and ultimately culminating in the disorder and degeneracy that we see today in things like Drag Queen Story Hour. To quote Evola, a historiography of the right should embrace the same horizons as Marxist historiography. It should aspire to grasp the real and essential elements of the historical processes which has unfolded over the last centuries, beyond all myths, superstructures, and even mere chronicles. This, of course, should be accomplished by inverting the perspective. In other words, by seeing the essential and convergent processes of recent history as the phases not of any political and social progress, but rather of a general subversion. Although Evola does not name him in the essay, the view he is expressing in this quote reminded me of the German writer Oswald Spengler. Notably, Spengler viewed the events and processes of history not in isolation, but rather as if they were connected plot points in a grand cosmic drama. Equally important is that Spengler wholly rejected Whig history, and instead of seeing history as linear and progressive, Spengler believed that history was cyclical and that Faustian man was in an era of decline. These characteristics of Spenglerian thought are congruent with what Evola desires in a right-wing historiography, namely, quote, that a historiography of the right will acknowledge, as much as that of the left, the succession and linking together of distinct general and supernatural phases, regressively leading up to the disorder and subversion of today. This will serve as the basis for an interpretation of individual facts and upheavals, one always focusing on the effect they have produced upon the overall picture. Now that we grasp the importance of a right-wing historiography, I would like to elaborate on a recent project for the channel. The message of this particular essay is most germane to what I have been working on as of late. In a community post, I have announced that it is my intent to create a world history course from 1900 to the present, and the first lecture of this course will be posted in the upcoming weeks. The course in totality will be upwards of 100 lectures in length, and will be divided into 11 modules. In this course, I intend to break the leftist narrative of the 20th century, which is taught in schools, and throw back the curtain, revealing what is left out of history textbooks and what has been fabricated. Within the course, I will pay special consideration to, among other things, the JQ and constructing a right-wing historiography. For topics that cannot go on YouTube due to Raja Mohan, I will post them on my Substack, and the YouTube playlist of my lectures will be conspicuously missing that lecture number and episode, but I will remind audiences where to find that lecture in the subsequent episode. This does not mean that book reports and essays are going away. I will not make exclusively history lectures. I only mean to say that this will be a new type of video that I will be posting on the channel. If this interests you, be sure to click the bell button next to subscribe so that you will not miss out on the lectures, as YouTube loves to shadow ban right-wing content. With that said, I appreciate all of you who have watched this far, and I hope to produce more content at a better rate in the months to come.